Let's jump straight into the video. The primary ingredient is quinoa, which is no surprise. You'll need 1 full cup of white quinoa soaked overnight in 2 cups of cold water. When you're ready to make the flatbread, drain the water and rinse the quinoa a few times. You can pop it in a fine sieve and run some cold water over it before draining. As you may know, quinoa can have a bit of a bitter aftertaste, and taking the time to soak and rinse it can reduce some of that bitterness. Place the quinoa in a blender, add exactly 1 cup of cold water and blend on high speed for a few minutes until you have a smooth batter. It should be the consistency of a crepe batter, pourable and not too thick. The important thing is for the quinoa grains to be properly blended with the water as much as possible. I'm keeping my promise that this is a 1 ingredient recipe, but if you want, you can add a 1/4 teaspoon of salt to taste, or even experiment with some savory herbs and spices. One great thing that the blender does is that it aerates the batter and creates tiny little bubbles, which will ultimately make the flatbread light and fluffy. In a lightly oiled and heated nonstick pan, add about 3 tablespoons of the batter to the middle, and use the back of a ladle to spread it out into a circle. Keep the heat on very low and cook the flatbread for 3 to 4 minutes before attempting to flip it over. It's important to be patient with this step and avoid flipping it too soon, otherwise the flatbread will simply fall apart. Once the top of the flatbread appears dry, use a spatula to lift around the edges, then flip and cook for another 2 minutes on the other side. Repeat this process until all the batter is used up. This recipe makes about 10 medium-sized flatbreads. You can of course use more batter, spread it out more thinly and create much larger tortillas, in which case you might end up with 6 or 7. If you don't know, I have a recipe for 1 ingredient black bean flatbread. I'll leave a link to that in the description below if you want to check it out. Between the black bean and quinoa, this quinoa version is hands down my favorite, and one I will be making many times over. I was so happy with how the quinoa flatbread turned out and pleasantly surprised at how soft and pliable they were. They held together well and had the perfect amount of moisture so they didn't crack or fall apart. Unlike a lot of gluten-free breads, this one isn't dry, and the flavor is neutral enough so that the flatbread can act as a vehicle for other foods. It's extremely versatile whether you're using it as a wrap or serving it alongside a soup or stew. It's packed with protein, and you know that there are no hidden nasty ingredients, preservatives, or fillers. I can definitely imagine making a sweet version of this with a dash of maple syrup, quinoa pancakes, or crepes essentially. This recipe is definitely toddler friendly, and my daughter enjoys hers with a spread of almond or peanut butter. There are just so many ways you can enjoy this. I had some of my dense bean salad left over and used that to make a delicious healthy wrap. The dense bean salad was last week's recipe video, and I'll leave a link in the description to that as well so that you can check it out. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think of this recipe and if it's one that you're going to try. Please subscribe as I post a new video every week, and I will catch you next time. Bye!